As humans, looking upwards is often not only a break from busy everyday life, but synonymous with questions asked 1,000 times about our significance and origins in the cosmos. The Hector Fellow Academy supports research projects in the STEM fields, as well as medicine and psychology. The HFA aims at supporting the research of the big questions of our time. For example, questions that Professor Eva Grebel is working on. She is investigating galactic archaeology at the Center for Astronomy of Heidelberg University. Professor Grebel is a pioneer in her field and one of the world's leading scientists.
Bei der Galaktischen Archäologie geht es darum, die Entwicklung von Galaxien zu verstehen.
Galactic archaeology is concerned with understanding the development of galaxies. We focus on stars as fossils, or so to say, as archaeological artifacts of past epochs. That is because these stars cover a wide range of different ages. As they were formed at different times, they also have different characteristics. If we can determine those characteristics, we learn something about the development of the galaxies, very similar to archaeologists, who excavate artifacts from different periods of time.
Ganz ähnlich wie Archäologen das tun, wenn sie Artefakte ausgraben aus unterschiedlichen Zeiträumen.
Eva Grebel is a professor of astronomy and the director of the Astronomical Computing Institute at Heidelberg University. She heads the German Research Foundation Collaborative Research Center for the Study of the Milky Way and is one of the absolute top researchers in her field, as demonstrated by numerous prestigious national and international awards and honors. Among other things, she is a member of the Heidelberg Academy of Sciences and Humanities, in the Senate of the German Research Foundation, and, last but not least, a recipient of the Hector Science Award. In order to comprehend the formation of galaxies, the researchers use a range of methods. They determine the three-dimensional motion of the stars, their chemical composition and their age, all with the help of various scientific methods.
Also da gibt es verschiedene Methoden, die wir verwenden, unter anderem
There are different methods. Among others, the so-called photometry is used. Here, you take pictures of regions in the sky in different wavelength ranges and detect the stars visible on the pictures. First, you measure their positions and second, their brightness in the different wavelength ranges. Additionally, spectroscopy is used. With spectroscopy, the light of the stars is broken down into much smaller wavelength ranges. Using these spectra, you can deduce the movement of the stars. Ultimately, you measure the velocity of the stars towards or away from us. That provides us with one of the movement components. Furthermore, you need the component tangential, meaning perpendicular to our viewing direction. This component can be extracted from image data by recording it at different times. This is because stars, especially if they are relatively close, will move visibly over long periods of time when measured with very high precision.
This complex work isn't conducted by Professor Eva Grebel alone, of course. Among others, Steinek Prudil is one of her employees. He is doing his PhD at Eva Grebel's Institute. In his project, he is mainly investigating RR Lyrae stars in order to find the remnants of past fusions that contributed to the formation of the Milky Way.
Well, the stars that I'm studying, that I'm using in my research, can be compared to humans here on Earth. I'm using very old stars which been here when the galaxy was formed, which are old as our galaxy itself. I would compare them to grandmothers and grandfathers that everyone has in family that are like very willing to tell their grandchildren stories about their past youth and how they lived and what they did in the past. And basically these stars are telling me these stories, how the galaxy was formed, how it was put together. Of course, some stars tell slightly different stories. That's because they don't come from the Milky Way itself, but came from somewhere else. And those are the things that I'm trying to find. The small pieces of the Milky Way that we find in our galaxy today, and try to compare them with small pieces on the sky, which are related to some other objects in our neighborhood. So roughly 40% of stars are like these grandfathers, which are sort of telling their story a little bit exaggerated or a little bit less exaggerated. Basically, they are not telling the whole truth. But if you look at the grandmothers, which are the 60%, then you learn the actual truth.
There are only a handful of experts worldwide in this area of research. Steenek Prudil can draw on the expertise of Eva Grebel to trace the true history of our universe and its origins. To make excellent research possible, however, the general conditions must be good as well.
Without the Hector Fellow Academy, my work would be much more limited with regards to resources. I wouldn't probably have that many collaborators that I would work on projects, and I wouldn't get that much insight on project that I'm working on right now. It would be much more restricted and much more confined in a very simple projects. Thanks to the Hector Fellow Academy, I can expand on that and reach into depths of my projects where I didn't dare to think of.
However, it is not only young scientists that benefit from this funding and cooperation, but also the established scientist, and in the end, the research itself.
My research benefits from the support of the Hector Fellow Academy's support of PhD projects. Because on the one hand, outstanding young scientists who are really excellent contribute their own research ideas, meaning that they have the opportunity to apply with their own research project. In other words, they have the opportunity to realize their own ideas during their doctoral thesis. At the same time, it also enriches my own work, because in this process, new aspects are generated in respect to my research field.
Excellent scientists and outstanding young scientists. This combination is what takes research to the next level. That is how the scientists looking upwards can bring us answers to questions about our history and light into the darkness of our past. Top international research and the promotion of early career researchers in Germany. A vision with a future.